My girlfriend of 10 years got cancer, and I'm not sure about staying and ruining the rest of my life, as the cancer is treatable. But she may not physically recover or have children, and dry up my savings. I've been dating Sarah since college. It's been nearly 10 years longer than most marriages in our friend circle have lasted. We met during a group project in our third year at university. I was drawn to how blunt she was, how unfiltered and upfront, but still warm in her way. She didn't play games. We became a fixture to each other almost immediately. Study partners turned life partners. Or so it felt. Over the years, we stuck it out through a lot. The best days of our lives, we celebrated together. The worst ones, we bore down and got through them, hand in hand. I had a hard stint of unemployment in my late 20s. It lasted almost a year. Depression hit hard. Sarah pulled me out of that fog, not through big gestures, but through small, persistent presence. Texts when I didn't reply. Sitting with me while I said nothing. Gently but firmly pushing me to see a therapist. And then when she had her own health scares, a few years back, random dizzy spells, thyroid issues, and hormonal imbalances that made it hard for her to get out of bed some days, I stepped into that carer role without question. I cooked. I cleaned. I researched doctors. I didn't keep score. It was what we did. Show up for each other, no matter the version of ourselves we were dealing with. But we weren't without our messes. We had a moment 2 years ago where I found Bumble on her phone. She swore it was curiosity, just in case, she never acted on. I wanted to rage. Instead, I forgave her. Months later, we had a brutal fight, and I retaliated by downloading it too. I didn't swipe or match either, but she found out. It could have destroyed us. But we were stupid in love, or stubborn, or both. She forgave me. That's how our relationship has worked. We've always balanced each other. She's messy, impulsive, and emotional. I'm methodical, careful, and financially disciplined to the point of neuroticism. She has the better instincts in emergencies. I'm better with plans and numbers and thinking 5 years ahead. My parents like her. She fits in at our family gatherings. We've traveled together all over domestic trips, international ones, and a 3-week backpacking trip through northern India that was both magical and nearly relationship ending when we lost a suitcase full of medication and snacks in Manali. We don't live together. It's always been a little on to others, but it made sense for us. After college, we both moved back home to save money. A few years later, her parents divorced, and she moved in with her mom, then eventually out on her own. She's a few hours away now. We see each other on weekends mostly, and when our schedules allow, I'll take a few days midweek and stay with her. But that hasn't happened often. I work long hours. She used to, too. We've had little flare-ups over the years. Mostly her temper. She can go from zero to raised voice faster than anyone I've ever met. And it's not about anything serious. She'll snap if I leave dishes in the sink, or if I don't immediately answer a text. Sometimes I'll skip a weekend with her to catch up with friends. She gets cold and withdrawn. She's never really had close friends of her own, and sometimes I think she resents that I still do. There were times when I thought about ending things. That thought would creep in after a big fight, or during one of those weekends where I drove back feeling emotionally wrung out. But the feeling never lasted. It always faded, usually after we laughed about something dumb over the phone, or when she sent a picture of her dog curled up in a blanket we bought together on vacation. She's gotten better with some things. Used to be a complete slob, left clothes everywhere, couldn't keep track of bills, never cleaned out her car. I told her flat out one day, I can't live with this. If we're going to share a home someday, this has to change. And, to her credit, she cleaned up literally and figuratively. Money, though, has always been a sticking point. I'm obsessive with it. I track every dollar. I invest, I save, and I plan. I passed $1 million in personal savings recently, a milestone I thought I'd celebrate. But it just came and went. Sarah, on the other hand, once racked up $15,000 in credit card debt a few years back and didn't tell me until the collectors were calling. Her dad had to help her out. She paid him back. Now I'm helping her chip away at student loans, which we agreed would be gone by summer. When I visit, or when we travel, I pay for everything. It's not about control, it's just what I've worked for. I don't mind. Or I didn't, until lately. My dad's mentioned, more than once, that I should move in with her. Back when her parents split, he even joked that I should buy their old house and settle down. He was only half joking. But something always held me back, not because I didn't love her, but because I always feared that if we broke up, I'd be leaving her stranded. She's not helpless, she's far more capable than she gives herself credit for. But still, I had that image in my mind. Me packing up and walking out, and her sitting there with everything crumbling around her. I've lived frugally for a reason. I skipped the expensive stuff in my 20s so I could build a future. A real one. The kind with kids. Stability. Opportunity. Not just for me, but for whoever I build a life with. I had this vision of a family that lived within its means, laughed at dinner, went on ski trips, and knew what peace felt like. But life doesn't always care about your plans. It started a few months ago, first with the migraine. Then came the vision problems. She was getting headaches behind her eyes, dizziness, and spots in her field of view. We thought maybe it was stress again, or hormones. But the symptoms didn't let up. More appointments followed. Specialists. Imaging. Then came the diagnosis. Cancer. I didn't react at first. I remember sitting in the car after the appointment, staring through the windscreen as if the world had paused. My brain wanted to do something, run, fix, plan, but my body just sat there. She was next to me, quiet. Not crying, not talking. Just staring at her hands like they didn't belong to her anymore. They said it's treatable. As if that made it all less terrifying. But the truth is, even if she comes out of this physically okay, something has changed. It's like a before and after line was drawn in our lives, and we can't go back to what we were before. Since then, I've been swinging between two poles. 1 minute, I'm ready to drop everything. Quit my job if I need to. Move in with her. Be at every chemo session. Fight this with her like we fought everything else. And the next minute, I'm frozen with fear. Because this isn't just a health scare. This is the rest of our lives, potentially reshaped. This might be the future we planned for, gone. And that's what haunts me. I want kids. I want to build a home with laughter and messes and first days of school and late night talks about college. I want to chase little feet down hallways and teach someone how to drive. I want to look across the dinner table at someone who shares my crazy and matches my drive. And I want to do it with someone who's walking side by side with me, not someone I have to carry. God, that sounds awful even as I write it. Because she's not a burden. Not now. Maybe never. She's still fighting. Still cracking jokes. Still trying to hold it together. But the thought keeps creeping in. What if this takes away her ability to have children? What if this changes her mentally, depression, trauma, all of it? What if I stay, and we spend the next decade dealing with relapse after relapse, bills, grief, and the slow erosion of what we had? What if I stay and become bitter? Worse. What if I leave? The guilt eats me alive. She needs me. She has parents, yes, they're supportive. But they're not me. They're not the person she pictured besides her during this fight. And if I walk away now before treatment even begins, what does that make me? A coward. A realist. Someone who knows this might end badly and doesn't want to burn the next 10 years waiting for the other shoe to drop. I've sacrificed so much of my 20s for the dream of something better. For the long game. I was never the guy out blowing cash at clubs or living paycheck to paycheck. I saved. I planned. I said no to a lot of fun because I thought, someday, this will all be worth it. I just didn't expect someday to come with a diagnosis that threatened to take it all off the table. We had finally talked about moving in together this year. She was supposed to start job hunting near me, so we could close the distance. But now she can't leave her job because she needs her insurance. Everything is on hold. And the timeline we carefully sketched out live together: a year, get engaged, start a family, and a few more. It's all smoke now. Meanwhile, our friends are starting families, announcing pregnancies, signing mortgage papers. They're stepping into the next chapter of life, while I feel like I'm stuck in a waiting room outside the universe's emergency department. I try to be rational under pressure. It's my coping mechanism. I make lists, pros and cons. I plan escape routes even if I never use them. But nothing about this situation fits into a spreadsheet. Nothing about this makes sense. And I hate that I even needed to. I keep thinking, maybe I'm just scared. Maybe this is that foggy space between denial and acceptance. Maybe I'm mourning the future I imagined before I've even lost it. But there's another voice, one I don't want to admit exists, that says, maybe this is clarity. Maybe I'm seeing our relationship for what it really is. Two people who've held on out of comfort and history, but who want different things deep down. I can't ignore the history. She's been in my life for almost half of it. I think about what it would feel like to be with someone else. Would I miss her scent? Her weird obsession with documentaries about plane crashes? Would I hear a laugh on the street and turn, thinking it was hers? I don't know how to make this decision. There's no clean way forward. No version where I come out the other side without scars, either from staying through something that might break both of us or leaving and living with myself after I abandoned someone in the middle of a war. And I don't even know what I'm asking here. Advice? Permission? An outside voice that isn't clouded by love or guilt. I don't want to fast forward 10 or 15 years and find out that the cancer came back, that we never got to be parents, and I'm left grieving the person I loved and the life I never got to have. I also don't want to wake up one day with someone new, feeling a ghost next to me in bed, remembering her in flashes, and hating myself for not staying. Maybe the worst part is I still love her. But love doesn't always fix everything. So, Reddit, if you've ever stood at this kind of crossroads where your future and your heart are pulling in opposite directions, how did you choose? How do I know whether staying is noble or just slow self-destruction? How do I leave without being the villain in someone else's hardest chapter? Comments. Comment 1. I'll be blunt. SHT or get off the pot. Marry her right now and support her, whatever the outcome. Or let her go. It's been 10 years, and you two are still half in and half out of this relationship. Downloading dating apps to spite each other, never moving in together, never committing. All so wishy-washy, all. We'll be together one day after the next goal is achieved. No the next, no the next. You have $1 million in the bank. There is nothing stopping you except your inability to get on with it, to take the risk that any marriage entails, to start your lives. So figure out what's stopping you, and either overcome that obstacle or accept it, and end this lukewarm nonsense of a relationship. BTW, I am not impressed at how you are making her diagnosis all about you. My feelings, my plans, my efforts, my money, my sacrifices, my possible future loss and inconvenience. My future kids, not a word of sympathy for her other than, she'd be in the SHT if I left her, how sad. Still, never mind. I can't be doing with actually supporting her when the going gets tough. So I guess she's F-ed. Me. But how sad it will make me. You come across as very selfish indeed. You have $1 million in the bank, but wouldn't help her with a couple grand for her credit cards? Let her go, dude. Let her go. Comment 2. The whole point of having a relationship is for moments like this. Life partners, facing down the crap that life throws at you. You've spent a decade with this woman. If you love her, you stay, and you help her fight. She needs you now more than ever before. She helped you up before, and now you need to carry her through this battle. But you need to be in it 100%. Nothing in the future is ever certain. It's admirable that you've done so well saving. But as you can see, sometimes life just doesn't care for your plans. In terms of having a family, if she makes it through this okay, then she might be fine to bear children. But if not, you can always adopt. Plenty of kids out there need love. You mention, what if she beats it, but it comes back? Frankly, what if you get hit by a bus tomorrow? That's life. There's no certainty. I hope you decide to stay with her, but she deserves for you to be decisive. Either be there for her completely, or let her go with clarity and kindness. Don't leave her in limbo. Comment 3. Look, you're being honest, and that's better than ghosting her or pretending this is all fine. But you're also stuck in a weird martyr mindset where you want credit for saving money, for helping her through the years, for sticking around, but you don't want to actually be the person who does the hard thing now. If you need to walk away, but don't dress it up in, I'm just being rational language. Own it. And if you stay, don't make her feel like a financial liability or an emotional storm you're weathering. Make her feel like a partner again. This is the test. This is the time you find out what kind of man you are. Not who you plan to be, not who you saved up to be, who you actually are when the plan breaks. Thank you for watching the video.